Guess where we are?
Blackpool.
We're where we left you last week. We're in Whaley Bridge Basin in High Peak. The last time we were here, vlogging from here anyway, was it September 2019?
It was.
It was just a few weeks after the nearby Toddbrook Reservoir almost collapsed after the floods. And I made a little documentary vlog, a docu-vlog.
You did.
About that. If you've not seen that, I actually quite like that.
It's very good.
There should be a link up above Sean's head if you're watching on a computer, and you can watch that one. But Toddbrook is one of two reservoirs that feed the Peak Forest and Macclesfield canals. And most canals have got locks and lots of leaks, so they need a steady, constant supply of water.
Yeah.
And that's what Toddbrook does. Toddbrook Reservoir feeds the Peak Forest Canal along with Coombs Reservoir. But after the faff,
what a faff,
where it nearly collapsed, they had to virtually empty Toddbrook Reservoir to keep it safe while they do repairs. And it's been, well, it's coming up to 2 years, so I had a little wander up there with the drone to see how things are getting on. The last time I was here, the RAF and emergency services had just managed to stop the dam wall from collapsing. There'd been days of torrential rain, and that caused the water level to rise so high that it overflowed the auxiliary spillway and it washed away large pieces of the dam wall itself. It was actually feared for a few days that the dam would collapse and flood hundreds of homes and businesses in Whaley Bridge. Over the first few days, they managed to drain over 1 billion litres of water from the reservoir into the River Goyt. And RAF Chinook helicopters dropped 600 tonnes of aggregate down into that massive hole that had appeared in the dam wall. To keep the water levels as low as possible, the source of the reservoir, Toddbrook, has been diverted away from its usual course, which is just about 1 kilometre away from the dam, and it now runs along a bypass channel down the northwest ridge of the reservoir, and it drops down into the River Goyt. It's weird to see this part of Toddbrook empty like this, but seeing it without much water gives you a sense of just how much power the water's got when it's in flood. I mean, just look at these rocks. To be able to throw around thousands of tons of rocks and boulders and trees like this, imagine being caught in that when the brook's just a torrent of floodwater rushing down the valley. The spillway that was almost washed away back in 2019, it now has a new wall. It's just over 1 metre high and it reaches down into the clay core, and that forms a watertight seal. It makes it safer. The wall's got these 2 pressure relief holes, and they reduce the force on the wall if the water level gets too high again. The spillway itself's also been repaired. The joints where the water could get in and undermine the concrete have been sealed up, and the spillway's now safer than it was when that near disaster happened 18 months ago. It's going to be nice to come back in another couple of years and hopefully see the reservoir full of water again, and the sailing club open doing their activities, and the spillway looking a little bit less like a big hole that's been plugged up. So Toddbrook can't supply the Peak Forest Canal with water at the moment, so it relies on water coming in from Coombs Reservoir, which is a bit further away, and there's a bit of a faff going on there as well.
Why does it go uphill?
Actually, that's more true than you think. There's a blockage in the pipe between Coombs Reservoir and the Peak Forest Canal here at Whaley, so they can't get water through the usual means. But they've been a bit clever about it. What they're doing is they're actually letting water into the River Goyt from up there, and then just behind us you can probably see the water being pumped back out of the river and into the canal, and that's how they're keeping the canal in water. That's what it's called, in water.
In water, keeping the canal in water.
And when there's a breach, that's when the canal's waters break. It can, because it can give birth to a new canal if there's enough water, can't it? I've had enough of this, and we off. Come on. Most boaters turn left up at Whaley Junction and go down towards Bugsworth Basin, but we love Whaley Bridge just as much, and there's the most gorgeous cake shop literally 2 minutes walk from the boat. The basin hasn't changed much since it was built back at the turn of the 19th century, and the Transhipment Warehouse is where goods used to be transferred from trains to boats or vice versa. And this one was originally 3 stories high, but a story was taken off in the early 20th century. It was extended in the 1830s when the Cromford and High Peak Railway arrived in Whaley Bridge, and this allowed trains to come in from the Midlands, unload the cargo onto boats, and they'd cruise off bound for Manchester and the ports at Liverpool. This place hasn't changed much in the last 190 years. The trains would come up and down the railway, down the Whaley Bridge incline and over the bridge towards the warehouse, and if you look carefully you can just make out the original route of the railway as it crossed the bridge. It's literally 5 minutes from Whaley Bridge Junction, so if you're coming down here by boat, pay it a visit. And even if you haven't got a boat, you can still walk down, sit by the basin and enjoy a picnic, or maybe even get one of those cakes. Back in 2019, the people of Whaley Bridge had a lucky escape, a skirted disaster, thanks to the professionalism of the emergency services and, of course, the community of Whaley Bridge. But about 9 miles northeast of here, another disaster was about to unfold. Today, I'm taking a walk over the Derbyshire peaks to Bleaklow, which is near higher shelfstones, and we're off to explore the chilling story of an abandoned plane crash site that's laid almost undisturbed for over 70 years. Three hours after setting off walking across the moorland, we finally spot the first signs of the crash site. I've come to see what's left of an old B29 aircraft from the American Air Force. It was called Over Exposed, and it crashed here in 1948, killing all 13 people on board. The aircraft was on its way to an American Air Force's base near Warrington, just west of here, and the pilot was descending to come into land, but he couldn't see through the thick clouds, and of course this blooming great moor was in the way, and the plane crashed. Even though the crash happened over 70 years ago, most of the wreckage is still here on top of the moor, and it's recognisable. You can see parts of the fuselage and the wing and the engine. It's quite creepy. It's a fair walk up here if you want to come and see it, but on a day like this, it's well worth it. You might have noticed that wasn't Sean walking with me up the hills. I had a chaperone for the day.
He did. Socially distanced.
And tell the people why I had a chaperone.
Because I thought I'd broken my foot the day before. I walked down the steps, tripped over Otis's toy and ouchie.
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 You were crying.
An hour later, no I wasn't. An hour later I couldn't put my foot down on the floor and had to go to hospital.
Yeah, we sent him to A&E in a taxi, and as soon as he got there, he was all right again. So they sent him home with his tail between his legs.
It was fine.
You're probably getting used to this landscape as much as we are.
They probably know it better than us now.
I think this is the third or fourth time we've been up and down here. And it's because of the restrictions. We got onto the Peak Forest Canal in the middle of December, and we've been here for, well, next week it'll be 3 months.
Yes.
So we've only been moving every couple of weeks to get water and food and get rid of the rubbish, which luckily we can do all those down at Whaley Bridge. There's bins and there's toilets and there's a water point and there's Tesco, so it's been great. So every couple of weeks we come down, do all the stuff and go back to the original mooring. And what we try to do is film as much as we can in each of these, because it only takes about half an hour, 40 minutes, doesn't it?
To do one take.
So, to do one take, yeah. So we try and film as much. So we've been doing multiple vlogs in each journey, haven't we?
We have, yes.
To try and get the content up. And thanks for sticking with us, because we've not been able to show you really much different for the last couple of months. But hopefully, fingers crossed, just over a couple of weeks, we might be able to move again. Woohoo! This building on our right hand side has been standing since 1839. It was a beer house when it was built, and it served ales to boaters and people who lived around here for over 100 years before the police had it shut down in 1908 because of disorderly conduct.
Drunk and disorderly.
I don't know, but there wasn't actually anything going on. The police were just using the powers given to them by the government to try and slow the amount of people who were drinking. So they used these disorderly conduct warrants to shut places like that down.
Wow.
So it wasn't a pub after 1908. But then a few years later, the local greengrocer, who used to trade from Furnish Row, the little row of cottages we showed you last week, he moved in there and turned it into a greengrocer's. And then it was a private house, but the back bit, the extension, apparently is a holiday let now.
All right.
And we're back. We do like this mooring. It's been like home for the last 3 months virtually, hasn't it?
It has.
And it's where we've scattered Dylan's ashes. I'll put the what 3 words in the video description, so if ever you're around here, you can say hello to him.
Yes.
And we love it here. It's got good internet, it's got good solar on days like this, hence the hat. And it does feel like home after 3 months, doesn't it?
And look at that.
Who can not love that? But hopefully, fingers crossed, in 2 or 3 weeks the lockdown's going to be over, which means we can move again.
It does.
But
Yay.
where are we going to go? Because once we get to Marple, we could go back down the Macclesfield, but we've done that. And
About 4 times, haven't we?
Castle. We could go down the Marple flight of locks towards the Ashton Canal, and we could go into, well, we could go up the Huddersfield, but we've done that.
Could.
So we could go left and go into Manchester.
Yeah.
Up the Rochdale Canal, we could do the Bridgewater, we could do the Lee branch of the Leeds Liverpool.
So much.
There's quite a few choices, but there's also quite a few stoppages. So we're going to have to wait and see what's going on in a couple of weeks, check the stoppages, and I think then make a plan. So we genuinely don't know at the moment where we're going. so come back next week. If you've enjoyed this vlog, we hope you have, and you're not already, please click subscribe and subscribe to the channel. It's free. And if you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up.
Like that.
Hit the notifications bell. YouTube will let you know every time we release a new vlog. 4 o'clock on a Friday. And if you
I'm not saying nothing.
If you want to support the channel, you can click the join button on our homepage on our channel on YouTube, or click the Patreon link, which is up above Sean's head for a change.
What do you mean for a change?
We're off in for his tea. Going to take Otis for a quick walk, and we'll see you next week. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.
Ta-da.
13 aircrew weren't about to be so.
La 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 la.
But, forgotten, 9 miles northeast to where we are now. Why is it always the short bits that are the most dicky full? Maybe not. Another disaster was about to unfurl. Is unfurl a word? It's not, is it?
Unfold.
Unfold. Yes! How many times did that take? You seen the 2 little cuts on his face? He's got one there and one there. He wasn't paying attention to what he was doing and got clouted in the face by a tree.
No, it wasn't a tree.
Well, what were it? You said I've just been clouted in the face by a tree.
It was a hanging bramble.
Off a tree?
No, off a blackberry bush. God, you can't say that.
So if you listen carefully, you can hear the geese shouting "Oggy, oggy, oggy." People will think you're actually called Maud, won't they? I've forgotten what I was going to say now. It's like nuclear war again.
Brightness.
I think they've bombed Stockport. The restrictions ease and we can move on away from the geese. We're in mating season, so they're having a right ball at the moment.